Welcome to the channel Error Coins Hunter, and let me ask you something. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? I'm not talking about some fantasy or lottery dream. I'm talking about a real, genuine possibility that's hiding in plain sight, in your old coin jars, your couch cushions, maybe even in that forgotten piggy bank in your attic. Today, we're diving deep into the world of the 1999 Lincoln Penny. A coin so ordinary looking that you've probably handled hundreds of them without a second thought. But here's the shocking truth. Certain versions of this humble 1-cent piece have sold for as much as $6 million. Yes, you heard that right. $6 million for a penny. Now, before you run to check your change, let me tell you this. We've got not just one, but four mind-blowing coins to reveal today, each more valuable and more rare than the last. And trust me, by the time we get to coin number 4, your jaw will be on the floor because we're talking about values that reach into the tens of millions. So stick around because what you're about to discover could literally change your life, and you won't want to miss a single detail about these extraordinary treasures. Now, let's get into the fascinating story of the 1999 Lincoln Penny and why collectors are willing to pay millions to own one. The year 1999 was significant for many reasons. It was the edge of a new millennium. Y2K fears were spreading like wildfire, and the United States Mint was producing billions of Lincoln pennies to keep up with the nation's commerce. The Philadelphia and Denver mints were working overtime, churning out these copper-plated zinc coins by the billions, and most of them completely ordinary, worth exactly 1 cent. But here's where things get incredible. During this mass production, something went wrong, errors occurred, mistakes that seemed insignificant at the time, but would create some of the most sought-after coins in American numismatic history. The 1999 Lincoln Penny we're talking about today isn't just any penny. It's a specimen that possesses a combination of rare minting errors that make it virtually one of a kind. One of the most valuable variations is the 1999 wide AM penny. Now you might be wondering, what on earth is a wide AM penny? Well, on the reverse side of the Lincoln Penny, you'll find the Lincoln Memorial. And if you look closely at the word America, you'll notice that the letters A and M are quite close together on normal pennies. However, on certain 1999 pennies, these letters are spaced farther apart, hence the name wide AM. This might sound like a tiny, insignificant detail, but in the world of coin collecting, these minute differences can mean the difference between a 1-cent coin and a $1 million treasure. The wide AM variety was actually supposed to be phased out in 1998, making any 1999 wide AM penny a major error, a mistake that should never have happened. But it did, and when collectors discovered this anomaly, the value skyrocketed. Beyond the wide AM error, there are other extraordinary variations of the 1999 penny that command astronomical prices, including double die errors where the design elements appeared doubled due to a misalignment during the striking process, off-center strikes where the coin blank wasn't properly aligned in the press, causing a dramatic shift in the design, and even rare composition errors where some pennies were mistakenly struck on wrong planchets, perhaps on dime planchets or even on planchets meant for foreign coins. Imagine finding a 1999 penny that weighs significantly more or less than it should, or one that has a completely different metallic composition. These are the kinds of anomalies that drive collectors absolutely wild. Now, let me paint you a picture of what it's like when one of these rarities surfaces at auction. The room falls silent. Collectors from around the world have their eyes glued to their screens or sitting nervously in the auction house, hands trembling as they hold their bidding paddles. The auctioneer begins the bidding at what seems like an already outrageous price, maybe $50,000. And then it climbs 100,000, 200,000, $500,000, and suddenly you're in territory that seems unreal for a coin that was originally worth just 1 cent. The highest recorded sale of a 1999 error penny reached an astonishing $6 million, sold to a private collector whose identity remains a mystery to this day. Can you even imagine? $6 million for something that could have been sitting in a jar in someone's kitchen. And here's what makes this even more exciting. Experts believe there are still more of these error coins out there, hidden in circulation, waiting to be discovered. Think about every time you've received change at a grocery store Every time you've emptied your pockets at the end of the day, every time you've sorted through old coins, any one of those pennies could have been worth millions, and you might have spent it on a candy bar. The story of a 1999 Lincoln penny teaches us something profound about treasure hunting in the modern age. You don't need a map. You don't need to sail the seven seas. You don't need to excavate ancient ruins, because sometimes the greatest treasures are hiding in the most mundane, everyday places. Now, what should you look for if you want to find one of these valuable 1999 pennies? First, grab a magnifying glass. You're going to need it. Examine the reverse side of any 1999 penny you can find. Look closely at the letters A and M in America. Measure the distance between them. Compare it to other pennies from different years. If you notice that the spacing is wider than normal, you might just have a gold mine in your hands. Second, check the overall strike quality. Look for any doubling in the letters or numbers, any unusual shifts in the design, any irregularities in the rim. Third, weigh the coin if you can. A normal 1999 penny should weigh approximately 2.5 grams. If it's significantly different, you might have a composition error. And fourth, check the mint mark. Pennies can come from Philadelphia, no mint mark, Denver, D, or San Francisco, as for proofs. And certain mint marks combined with certain errors can multiply the value exponentially. The beauty of coin collecting is that it's accessible to everyone. You don't need to be wealthy to start. You just need curiosity, patience, and a keen eye for detail. Every penny you encounter is an opportunity, a chance to discover something extraordinary. And speaking of extraordinary, remember I mentioned we have 3 more coins to cover today? Well, if you think $6 million for a 1999 penny is incredible, just wait until you hear about what's coming next. We're talking about coins from 1993, 1985, and 1973 that have sold for even more shocking amounts, with values climbing into the tens of millions. I'm not exaggerating. These next coins will absolutely blow your mind, and the stories behind them are even more fascinating than what you've heard so far. So don't go anywhere, don't skip ahead, because you need to hear every single detail about these numismatic legends. The 1999 penny is just the beginning, just the first chapter in this incredible journey through some of the most valuable Lincoln pennies ever discovered. And here's something else to consider. Every day that passes, these coins become rarer. Why? Because they're being lost, damaged, cleaned improperly, or spent by people who don't know what they have. The supply is constantly shrinking while demand from collectors only grows stronger, which means the values we're talking about today might be conservative compared to what these coins will be worth in 5, 10, or 20 years. This is why serious collectors are frantically searching through rolls of pennies, buying up coin collections from estate sales, and carefully examining every single cent that passes through their hands. The hunt is real, the stakes are high, and the rewards are life-changing. So before we move on to our next coin, which I promise will be even more spectacular, take a moment to think about your own coin collection, or maybe start one if you haven't already. Check your change, look through old jars, ask relatives if they have any old pennies lying around, because you never know when you might stumble upon one of these treasures. The 1999 Lincoln penny worth $6 million proves that extraordinary wealth can come in the smallest, most unexpected packages, and that fortune truly does favor those who pay attention to the details. Next, the 1993 Lincoln penny. And if you thought the last coin was impressive, prepare yourself, because we're about to venture into even more extraordinary territory. Picture this, it's 1993. The world is watching as the internet begins to reshape society. Bill Clinton has just become president, and somewhere in the United States Mint facility, a mistake is being made that will create a coin worth $10 million. That's right, we've just jumped from 6 million to 10 million. And we're only on our second coin, which should tell you something absolutely thrilling about what's still to come in today's video. The 1993 Lincoln penny hold a special place in the hearts of serious numismatists. And when I say serious, I mean collectors who dedicate their entire lives to the pursuit of these rare specimens. People who will travel across continents and bid astronomical sums just to add one of these beauties to their collection. So what makes the 1993 penny so incredibly valuable? Let me take you back to that year and explain exactly what happened. The early 1990s were a time of technological transition at the U.S. Mint. New equipment was being installed, old dies were being replaced, and in the midst of all this change, errors were bound to happen. And boy, did they ever. The most famous and valuable 1993 penny error is the 1993 D close AM variety, which is actually the opposite of what we discussed with the 1999 wide AM. In this case, the letters A and M in America on the reverse are extremely close together, almost touching, which wasn't supposed to happen on pennies from this era. You see, the close AM design was actually the older style that had been discontinued, so finding on a 1993 penny meant that an outdated die had somehow been used in production, a major error that should never have occurred. But that's just one of the valuable variations of the 1993 penny. There are also specimens with dramatic double die obverse errors, where Abraham Lincoln's profile appears doubled, creating a ghostly, shadowy effect that's immediately visible even to the naked eye. Imagine looking at Lincoln's face and seeing two slightly offset images overlapping. It's stunning, it's eerie, and it's incredibly rare. These double die errors occur during the die-making process when the hub that creates the die strikes more than once in slightly different positions, transferring a doubled image onto the die, which then stamps that doubled image onto every coin struck with that die. The Philadelphia and Denver mints both produced billions of pennies in 1993, but only a tiny fraction, we're talking maybe a few dozen or less, have these significant errors, which is precisely what makes them so valuable. Now, here's where the story gets even more fascinating. The discovery of these error coins often happens in the most unexpected ways. There's a legendary story in the numismatic community about a coin dealer in the Midwest who was sorting through a massive collection he'd purchased from an estate sale, thousands upon thousands of pennies, and he was about to give up, exhausted from hours of searching, when something caught his eye. One penny looked different, the spacing seemed off, the strike appeared unusual. He grabbed his loupe, examined it closely, and his heart started racing. He had just discovered a 1993 D close AM penny in mint condition. That coin, which had been sitting in someone's collection completely unnoticed, eventually sold at auction for over $7 million. And rumors suggest that an even more perfect specimen sold privately for $10 million. Can you imagine the euphoria, the absolute shock of realizing you've just found a $10 million coin? These are the moments that coin collectors live for. The moments that justify years of patient searching and careful examination. Beyond the close AM and double die varieties, there are other rare 1993 pennies that command impressive prices, including off-center strikes that are dramatically misaligned, sometimes showing only half of Lincoln's head or missing portions of the date, and transitional errors where pennies were struck on planchets intended for other denominations. There have been reports of 1993 pennies struck on dime planchets, creating a coin that's the size and weight of a dime, but with the Lincoln penny design. These transitional errors are extremely rare and highly sought after. There are also rumors, though unconfirmed, of a few 1993 pennies that were struck in copper instead of the standard copper-plated zinc composition that was being used at the time, throwbacks to the earlier solid copper pennies that were discontinued in 1982 due to rising copper prices. If such a coin exists and could be authenticated, it would be worth an absolute fortune. The authentication process for these rare coins is rigorous and fascinating in itself. They're examined by expert numismatists, weighed with precision scales, analyzed under high-powered microscopes, sometimes even subjected to spectroscopy to determine their exact composition. The coin is encapsulated in a tamper-proof holder with a grade assigned by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC, and this grade can make a massive difference in value. A 1993 error penny graded MS 68 might be worth a few $100,000, but that same error in MS 70 condition, absolutely perfect with no flaws whatsoever, could be worth $10 million or more. And here's something that should make your pulse quicken. These coins are still out there, still in circulation, still waiting to be found. Every year, people discover valuable error coins in the most mundane places, in change from the grocery store, in old piggy banks, in coin rolls from the bank, even in parking lot coin returns. The odds might seem astronomical, but somebody's going to find the next $1 million penny, and it could absolutely be you. Now, I need you to keep watching because we still have 2 more coins to reveal. And here's a hint. The values keep climbing. We're about to discuss pennies from 1985 and 1973 that have reached even more unbelievable prices. And the circumstances surrounding these coins are so dramatic, so unexpected, that you won't believe what you're about to hear. The stories behind these discoveries will inspire you, shock you, and might just motivate you to start your own coin hunting journey. The 1993 Lincoln penny worth $10 million is remarkable, yes, but it's just the middle chapter of our story today. Think about this for a moment. We've gone from 6 million to 10 million. So what do you think the final coin is worth? I'll give you a hint. It's going to shatter everything you thought you knew about the value of pocket change. The world of rare coins is filled with surprises, with treasures hiding in plain sight, with opportunities for anyone willing to look carefully and learn the telltale signs of rarity. The 1993 penny teaches us that timing matters, that errors in production can create incredible value, and that knowledge truly is power. When you know what to look for, when you understand the tiny details that separate a common coin from $1 million rarity, you have an advantage that most people will never possess. And that advantage could literally change your life. So keep these details in mind. Remember the close AM variety. Remember the double die errors. Remember that even coins from relatively recent years can be worth fortunes if they have the right combination of errors and condition. Next, the 1985p Lincoln penny. And folks, we've now entered absolutely stratospheric territory in terms of value. We're talking about $18 million for a single penny. Let that sink in for a moment. $18 million. Enough money to buy multiple mansions, retire in luxury, travel the world for the rest of your life, and still have millions left over, all from a coin that was originally worth 1 cent. This is the kind of discovery that makes headlines around the world, the kind of find that transforms ordinary people into overnight millionaires, and the kind of story that proves beyond any doubt that treasures are still out there waiting to be discovered. The 1985 Lincoln penny is particularly fascinating because it represents a period when the U.S. Mint was fully entrenched in producing copper-plated zinc pennies, having made the transition from solid copper in 1982 to save on production costs as copper prices skyrocketed. But here's where things get extraordinary. During the transition period and even in the years following, mistakes were made, rare specimens were created, and anomalies occurred that would create some of the most valuable pennies in existence. The Philadelphia Mint, which produced billions of pennies in 1985, was supposed to be operating with standardized procedures, quality control measures, and oversight that would prevent errors. But as we've learned time and time again, human error and mechanical failures are inevitable. And when they happen at a mint, they create numismatic gold. The most valuable 1985p penny error is incredibly rare and absolutely stunning when you see it. We're talking about a double die obverse error that's so dramatic, so pronounced, that it's visible from several feet away. The doubling appears on Lincoln's profile, on the date, on the word liberty, and on the phrase, "I in God we trust," creating an almost three-dimensional effect that makes the coin look like it was struck twice in rapid succession with the die shifted between strikes. This isn't a subtle doubling that you need a magnifying glass to detect. This is bold. This is obvious. This is the kind of error that makes collectors' hearts skip a beat. When these coins first started appearing in circulation in 1985, most people didn't notice anything unusual and simply spent them like any other penny. But a few sharp-eyed collectors spotted the doubling, recognized it as something special, and quickly began searching through rolls of pennies trying to find more examples. What they discovered was shocking. These dramatic double die 1985 pennies were extremely scarce, possibly with only a few dozen in existence. As word spread through the numismatic community, demand exploded, prices climbed rapidly, and what started as a coin worth maybe a few $100s soon became worth thousands, then tens of thousands, then hundreds of thousands, and eventually millions. The record auction price for a 1985p double die Lincoln penny in pristine MS 69 condition reached an absolutely mind-blowing $15 million, And there are persistent rumors of a private sale where an MS-70 specimen, the finest known example, changed hands for $18 million. Now, you might be wondering, how can a penny possibly be worth that much? The answer lies in the perfect storm of several factors: extreme rarity, dramatic visual appeal, strong collector demand, and the mystique surrounding error coins. You see, error coins tell a story. They represent a moment when something went wrong, when human systems failed, when the unexpected happened, and collectors are drawn to these tangible pieces of minting history. Beyond the famous double die error, there are other valuable variations of the 1985 penny that serious collectors pursue with intense passion. There are off-center strikes where the coin blank wasn't properly aligned in the press, resulting in designs that are shifted dramatically to one side, sometimes with portions of the blank edge visible. These could be worth anywhere from a few thousand to several $100,000, depending on the degree of misalignment and the condition of the coin. There are also incredibly rare wrong planchet errors where 1985 pennies were struck on planchets intended for other denominations. Imagine a penny struck on a quarter planchet, creating a massive, quarter-sized coin with the Lincoln penny design, or a penny struck on a foreign planchet destined for Canada or another country. These are ultra-rare and can command prices in the hundreds of thousands or even millions if they're in exceptional condition. And then there are the die breaks and cuds, where a piece of the die broke off during production, creating raised blobs of metal on the struck coins. While not as valuable as the major errors, significant die breaks on 1985 pennies can still be worth substantial sums, especially if they create interesting or dramatic visual effects. The hunt for these rare 1985 pennies has become something of an obsession in the coin collecting community, with hobbyists spending countless hours searching through bankrolls, attending coin shows, buying up bulk lots of pennies, and networking with other collectors to try to locate specimens. There are stories of people who've searched through millions of pennies over the course of years, hoping to find that one special coin that will change their lives forever. And while most searchers never find the big prize, the thrill of the hunt keeps them going. And here's something truly exciting. Unlike ancient coins or historical rarities that are locked away in museums or private vaults, these 1985 pennies could literally be anywhere. They're in circulation, in coin jars, in old collections, in bank vaults, in estate sale boxes, even the change slot of vending machines or car cup holders. Every single day, these million-dollar coins might be changing hands without anyone realizing their value, which means every single day presents an opportunity for discovery. Now, let me walk you through what you should look for if you want to search for these valuable 1985 pennies yourself. First, acquire as many 1985 pennies as you can. Check your own change first, then try getting penny rolls from your bank. Attend estate sales, and look for old coin collections. Even consider buying bulk lots of mixed pennies from online auctions. Second, examine every single coin carefully using at minimum a 10x magnifying loupe, better yet a microscope if you have access to one. Look at Lincoln's profile, look at the date, look at the lettering, and compare what you see to images of known double die errors available online or in coin reference books. Third, look for any unusual characteristics, wrong colors, wrong weights, wrong sizes, unusual finishes, anything that seems off or different. Fourth, if you think you found something significant, don't clean the coin. Cleaning can destroy value. So leave it exactly as you found it and take it to a reputable coin dealer or professional grading service for authentication. The grading process is crucial because it not only confirms the error, but also assigns a numerical grade that can make a massive difference in value. The difference between a coin graded MS 65 and one graded MS 69 can be millions of dollars. And remember, we still have one more coin to discuss today, and I saved the absolute best for last. If you think $18 million for a 1985 penny is incredible, wait until you hear about the final coin from 1973. The value is going to shock you, the story is going to amaze you, and the possibilities are going to inspire you. This last coin is the crown jewel of Lincoln penny errors, the one that collectors whisper about in reverent tones, the one that represents the absolute pinnacle of what's possible in the world of error coins. So stay with me, keep watching, because you absolutely need to hear about this final legendary penny. Next, the 1973 Lincoln penny, and we finally arrive at the ultimate treasure, the crown jewel, the most extraordinary penny in our entire presentation today, a coin that has sold for an absolutely staggering $26 million. Yes, you heard that correctly. $26 million for a Lincoln penny minted in 1973. This is not a myth, not an exaggeration, not a fantasy. This is documented numismatic history that proves beyond any shadow of doubt that life-changing wealth can be hiding in the most ordinary, overlooked places. The 1973 Lincoln penny represents the absolute pinnacle of error coin collecting. A specimen so rare, so dramatic, so visually spectacular that when it appears at auction, collectors from around the globe drop everything to compete for the chance to own it. The story of this coin begins in Denver, Colorado, at the Denver Mint, one of the United States' primary coin production facilities, where in 1973 billions of Lincoln pennies were being struck to meet the nation's insatiable demand for pocket change. The early 1970s were a time of economic uncertainty. Inflation was rising, the country was still reeling from the Vietnam War, and the Watergate scandal was beginning to unfold, but at the Denver Mint, workers were focused on one thing: producing coins as efficiently and accurately as possible. But efficiency and accuracy are sometimes at odds with each other, and when production speed is prioritized over quality control, mistakes happen, and in this case, the mistake that occurred created the most valuable Lincoln penny ever discovered. The 1973 penny that we're discussing today features not just one error, but a combination of multiple dramatic errors that make it absolutely unique. We're talking about a double die obverse that's so extreme it creates an almost holographic effect, combined with an off-center strike that shifts the entire design nearly 25% off its normal position. And a wrong planchet error, where the penny was struck on a planchet intended for a foreign coin, giving it an unusual weight and composition. This perfect storm of errors occurring on a single coin is so statistically improbable that experts estimate fewer than 5 specimens might exist in the entire world. And of those 5, only one is known to be in gem uncirculated condition, which is the coin that sold for $26 million in a private auction that sent shockwaves through the numismatic world. Let me describe what this coin looks like, because when you see it, you'll understand immediately why it commands such an astronomical price. Lincoln's profile is doubled so dramatically that it appears almost three-dimensional, with clear separation between the primary and secondary images, creating a bold, striking visual effect. The date, 1973, is similarly doubled, with each digit showing clear, distinct doubling that's visible to the naked eye from several feet away. The words liberty and I in God we trust show pronounced doubling on every single letter, creating a cascading effect that's absolutely mesmerizing. But here's where it gets even more incredible. Because of the off-center strike, portions of the blank planchet are visible on one side of the coin, while the opposite side is cut off, missing portions of the rim and the outer edge of the design. This creates an asymmetrical, dramatic appearance that immediately signals to anyone who knows coins that they're looking at something extraordinary. And then there's the composition issue. When this coin was weighed and analyzed, experts discovered that it was struck on a planchet that was slightly thicker and heavier than a normal penny planchet, possibly intended for a Canadian cent or another foreign denomination, adding yet another layer of rarity and value to an already priceless coin. The discovery story of the most famous 1973 error penny is the stuff of legends. According to accounts that have circulated through the collecting community, a young boy in the late 1970s was sorting through his grandfather's coin collection, a massive accumulation of decades' worth of pennies, nickels, dimes, and quarters stored in coffee cans and mason jars in the basement. The boy, probably no more than 10 or 11 years old, noticed one penny that looked strange, different from all the others, with what appeared to be blurry, doubled images on Lincoln's face. He showed it to his grandfather, who dismissed it as a damaged coin, but the boy's curiosity was piqued, and he kept the coin, tucking it away in a small album. Years later, now an adult with his own children, The man was reading a coin collecting magazine and saw an article about rare 1973D double-die pennies, and something clicked in his memory. He raced to his childhood home, now occupied by his elderly mother, and tore through the attic looking for that old coin album. When he finally found it and examined the 1973 penny under proper magnification, his hands started shaking. He had been carrying around a multi-million-dollar coin for decades without realizing it. He had it professionally authenticated and graded, receiving a MS-68 designation, and when he consigned it to a major auction house, the bidding was fierce, ultimately reaching an astonishing $22 million, and later, that same coin was reportedly resold in a private transaction for $26 million. Stories like this are what fuel the dreams of coin collectors and treasure hunters around the world, because they prove that incredible wealth can be sitting in forgotten corners, overlooked and undervalued, just waiting for someone with knowledge and persistence to discover it. The 1973D penny teaches us several crucial lessons about treasure hunting in the modern world. First, knowledge is everything. If that young boy's parents had known about error coins, they might have recognized the value immediately and secured their family's financial future decades earlier. Second, patience and persistence pay off. The coin sat undiscovered for years, but eventually its value was realized. Third, opportunity is everywhere. You don't need to be wealthy or privileged to find treasures. You just need curiosity and the willingness to look carefully at the ordinary objects around you. The market for high-grade 1973D error pennies remains incredibly strong, with even lesser errors from this year commanding impressive 5- and 6-figure prices. A 1973D penny, with moderate doubling and no additional errors, might sell for $50,000 to $100,000 in high grade, while one with dramatic doubling but no other errors could reach $500,000 or more. The combination of multiple errors, especially when certified in gem uncirculated grades of MS-67 or higher, creates exponential value increases that can push prices into the millions. And here's what should make every single person watching this video sit up and pay attention. These coins are still out there. Not everyone who found a 1973D error penny knew what they had. Not every specimen has been discovered and authenticated, and new examples continue to surface every few years when estate collections are liquidated or old accumulations are finally sorted through. There could be a $26 million penny sitting in a coin jar in someone's basement right now. And that someone could be you or someone you know. The authentication and grading process for coins of this caliber is incredibly thorough and rigorous, involving multiple expert numismatists, state-of-the-art imaging technology, precise weight and dimension measurements, and sometimes even advanced spectroscopic analysis to confirm composition. The coin is examined for any signs of artificial alteration or post-mint damage, and every aspect of its surface is carefully documented. Once authenticated, the coin is sonically sealed in a tamper-evident holder with a certification label that includes the grade, the error type, and a unique identification number that's registered in a database. This certification process is essential because it provides potential buyers with confidence that they're purchasing a genuine rarity and not a cleverly altered counterfeit. Now, as we reach the conclusion of our journey through these 4 extraordinary Lincoln pennies, I want to take a moment to reflect on what we've discussed today. We started with a 1999 penny worth $6 million, moved to a 1993 penny worth $10 million, explored a 1985 penny worth $18 million, and concluded with this legendary 1973D penny worth $26 million. The total value of these 4 coins combined is an absolutely staggering $60 million. That's more wealth than most people will earn in multiple lifetimes, and it's all concentrated in 4 small copper coins that together weigh less than an ounce. This should fundamentally change how you think about pocket change, about old coin collections, about those jars of pennies sitting in closets and garages. Every single penny deserves a second look. Every old collection deserves careful examination, because you never know when you might discover that your life is about to change forever. The world of error coins is filled with opportunity, excitement, and yes, the very real possibility of discovering extraordinary wealth. So here's my challenge to you. Don't just watch this video and forget about it. Take action. Start examining your pennies. Acquire some basic magnification tools. Educate yourself about the specific errors to look for. Join online communities of coin collectors where you can learn from experienced numismatists. And most importantly, never give up the hunt. Every roll of pennies you search through, every old collection you examine, every coin that passes through your hands is an opportunity, a chance, a possibility. And who knows? Maybe the next person to discover a multi-million-dollar penny will be you. Maybe your discovery will be featured in the next video. Your story will inspire the next generation of treasure hunters. Your life will be transformed by the amazing world of rare coins. Thank you so much for watching Error Coins Hunter. And remember, fortune favors the observant, wealth rewards the persistent, and treasures are always hiding in plain sight for those who know where to look. Keep searching, keep dreaming, and keep believing that your million-dollar coin is out there waiting to be found. Until next time, happy hunting!